Today our guest is Gloria Warren. Gloria is a medical intuitive and spiritual architect. She has been a medical intuitive since birth and uses her God-given gift helping to see into the human body. Known as a bridge, she bridges the gap between Eastern and Western medicine, along with the spiritual synergetic effect. Welcome, Gloria.
Hi.
I would like to talk a little bit about your childhood and upbringing. Maybe that will show a little bit of the light of who you are before we go into your work.
Well, my childhood was very odd. I was brought up very isolated compared to most kids. I wasn't allowed to really go out and play much or anything because I had various gifts growing up, and my father knew that they were different than most. So I, grew up mostly isolated and just around family, and until after high school, basically.
So, as you grew up, did you know that you are a special kid with some abilities that nobody else has?
Well, initially no, because when I my first memories of being able to see, I don't know, I was like 2, 3 years old, but I could see inside people, and I thought everybody could do this. So I didn't really recognize that it was a gift until later on when I was older, around 8, 9 years old. Somewhere in there I saw The Invisible Man, the movie. So it kind of showed me that this was not a normal process of seeing. And I realized that I was different.
So it must be overwhelming to really be able to see all of this as a child, and you must have developed something to help you along the way to really navigate your life. So what is your basic philosophy when you really work with people now, looking and seeing what's inside?
Well, since I was young, I learned to see people's eyes and their soul. I don't really pay attention to the physical, except when I need to, and that is when people want me to look inside and see what's wrong with them. So I don't notice much. Unless I walk into a large room, there's bodies walking all over, I catch things from people left and right. And sometimes I need to say something to someone. I ask them permission first, and I introduce myself so that I have their permission to tell them. Sometimes some people don't want to know, and that's okay. I believe my philosophy would be to help everyone that I'm capable of helping, but within their boundaries. It's their choice, not mine. So if they want to hear all the information, I am more than willing to give them that information. Some people choose not to know everything, and that's okay. It's their choice.
So when you see something that really inspires you to talk about, or something that you feel that people really need to know, and you approach that person, and all of a sudden the person says, no, I don't want to really know anything, I'm scared, I'd rather not know, I don't want to take care of it. Do you have any inner drive, any need to help those people, because you know so much?
I do get somewhat, my ego gets in there a little bit, but at the same time, I believe it's not my choice for them to know within their journey. It's their life, and it is up to them. And it may not be time for them to know in their life. So I just need to be patient.
So how did you actually get into working with this knowledge? How did you, who are the people you're working with? Who are your clients? Why are they coming? Who's coming? Who should be coming?
Yeah, most of my clients just come. I don't really advertise much at all, actually. Just yesterday I saw somebody who flew in from Europe. I get people from all over the world, but it is because of the type of work I do for them. When I do my work, I do it in a 3-step process. I've worked in the medical community my whole life, and my process basically is step 1, I look for all the deficits within the human body. And step 2, I look for all the root causes. What is the underlying thing here? What is the true reason why these problems exist? And then step 3 is reconciliation, what we can do to turn these circumstances around. It's usually a step-by-step process. I work with physicians. If a physician wants me to see a client, I will, and vice versa. Sometimes I will recommend certain physicians that deal with specific circumstances within a client. So a lot of phone calls and one-on-one.
So are you saying that when you work on the phone you can still see what's going on in the client's body and really identify the causes and root problems?
You know, that's interesting you say that. Most of the time I don't work on the phone. However, over the last few years, I started having people send pictures because there's certain pictures, within the pictures I can see the deficits. They actually do show in the film process, and I do actually see the same internal being. I could see the internal organs even on pictures. So I specify certain pictures that I need: face, hands, palm of your hands, the back, your feet, full body picture, maybe a picture from the rear. And it has worked out very successfully, and my clients that I've worked on with pictures have been very grateful. So I will continue to do that work as well.
So most of your clients do come to see you, and I know that you're working here at the North Shore Healing Center, which is a pretty amazing place, and no wonder it attracted you and me to that place, because it's full of light and full of this energy of healing and helping. So would you say that coming to see you really has the majority of the benefits in one package instead of doing it over the phone?
Oh, absolutely. The center itself is filled with a certain energy that's that of the divine. It's a positive, enlightening energy, and there's a lot of other types of practitioners here, and we work synergistically with each other. I can do things on the phone, you know, if they make an appointment, and we get the pictures back and forth through email. I choose the best way, though, is to come into the center and sit down with me and let me see in person, because I can see even to a cellular level on people. And sometimes the cellular level is a little fuzzy on photos. It doesn't pick up everything as far as the cellular things. I can even see genetic things from time to time, which I would like to give them the greatest benefit for a reading rather than a minimal. I would like to expand it for them, because after all, they're paying for it, and I want them to get their money's worth and more.
And working with you, because I've experienced your energy, and it's just wow, very amazing. So it is not only that you are accessing the information and you are able to see through what's going on, but you at the same time you are shifting and helping to actually heal this energy. And even though it is my process or somebody else's process to go through the information that you've given and start moving into direction of healing, being with you, and I can just feel tingling right now, being with you has that effect. It's a healing effect, because your aura is extremely clear and it has that healing intention. There is an intention to heal, and just by intention, as you go through all these organs, something does happen. I can feel it, because I can sense it. But can you talk a little bit more about it? Why people should come to see you, and what exactly happens?
Well, the energy, I do a lot of energy work, and I do a lot of spiritual architecture too. Sometimes the physical being, obviously through things like psychoneuroimmunology, they're affected through what goes through their mind, and the energy through their body. So being in person, I can actually use the energies. I do Reiki, I do various types of energy work, and I can do some healing as they're sitting there. I also do a lot of connecting, and depending on how much they would like, I can connect to their spiritual guides, I can see them, I can teach them how to see energy with their own eyes. That usually only takes a few minutes. I can teach them how to feel it with their own hands, so they understand this energy that is actually being applied to them, and then in turn they can learn on how to apply it to others for the sake of good. So it's a big benefit being within the same room, because you're getting more than just a reading, you are getting the full package.
Right, that's right. And just by knowing that you are an energetic being, once you sense it, once you are able to see, and I remember you showing me the process, and I was looking over your shoulder, and I was like, yeah, I see the blue line, and you're like, yeah, I'm an indigo child, like, wow, I've seen that blue line for the first time in my life. Even I'm clairsentient, I can sense the energy, I could never ever see it, and when you showed it to me, it was like, wow, it's not for just chosen people, anybody can see it.
Right, everybody has the gift. It is just simply a matter of using a part of your brain that you're not attuned to using in today's society. So scientifically, I've broken down a lot of our energy techniques that we use here in the center, and I've scientifically built up explanations so that people can understand at a concrete level what scientifically is actually happening here. What is an aura? You know, it's dealing with photodynamics and excitation and photons, and people can see this. It is a gift for all of us to partake in, and it's just a matter of knowing how.
Yeah, and I think what's so important about the work that you're doing, that you are a bridge. You are bridging that notion, oh, it's a voodoo kind of thing, I don't even know what she's talking about, to the scientific explanation, because today in 21st century we finally have a lot of explanation to things that we've known for thousands of years but didn't have a paper and a formula to really prove it. So can you talk a little bit about your scientific background, because I know that you've been showing.
I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
I've been everywhere, from hospital laboratories to doctors' offices to pharmaceutical research, and basically I use the scientific knowledge, and I seem to have a higher level of gifted knowledge on top of that, where scientific things come through here and come into me, and I can write down things of which isn't at what an ego self would normally be able to do, and go to a higher scientific explanation. And some of those things have been looked at, from statisticians to scientists, and if they've been correct. So it's not my knowledge. I'm the messenger. You know, that's how I put it. I'm merely the messenger with that knowledge, and I accept it. And there's actually what I've scientifically broke down to 5 levels of channeling, and within the 5 levels, you can bring in all types of information. These are things that are also easily learned by everyone. And this is something else that I teach in one of my workshops, and it takes about 3 lessons, and for the most part 3 lessons for most people. Some people, though, if they're in the ego world to the extreme and they're in their day-to-day living, maybe it's not their time. However, if they're ready for it, they can open themselves up to it, because we all have this guidance, this divine guidance. So I just teach them how to tap into it. It's simplified.
Yeah, and that's what I love about your work and about that place where we are, North Shore Healing Center, that we are all part of the huge matrix. And I work with human design, and I totally know how to, when you say everyone can have it, you can tap into it, but because you're not sure how to do it, or because you're not sure it exists, you're not even trying. It's almost like opening the door for you, but you do not open the door because you don't know there is a door.
Right.
So when you show those little tiny bits of information that gives you a tiny baby step into this energetic existence, you understand that this is just the crystallized energy, and some other energy is not as crystallized. So you're part of everything else, and you're flowing through it. And what you do is you help people to feel and sense and see and use all their senses to tap into that matrix, because it's available. I know it is, and for some people it's a toy, it's a gift that you've been playing with all your life, and for some people, I'm 49 today, so I've been learning about it for all my life, and today I can tap into something I couldn't 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So how can people really see and learn about how to do it? I know you do some workshops here.
Right, I do workshops on seeing energy, feeling it, how to tap into universal knowledge and actually have it happen, have the actual verbiage going into your head. And these are things that you can later on check scientifically. Is this true? Did I hear this right? So you know it's not from within your being. You know, in psychology, when people start hearing voices in their head, that could be something else. We're not talking about that type of scenario. We are talking about actual universal knowledge. In all religions, it talks about universal knowledge and the divine light, the guidance of the Holy Spirit, or however they may label it. It's all the same, and it is there for all of us to obtain and use. So we can use that guidance and that power at a higher level. As the only thing I ask is it's done within the divine, within the light, not within darkness. And here at the center, that's one of the things that I'm truly grateful for. Each and every practitioner, they do things through a spiritual divinity, and I greatly appreciate that.
So what you're saying is that when people come to workshop, they're able to open this door to channel this energy through their body and become familiar with who they are as a spiritual being, and start shedding, opening that light for other people. But you also are saying that some of the people, some of your clients, have a lot of density stored in their organs and in their systems and tissues that not really sometimes prevent them from seeing the light and sensing the light. And when they come to you, you're able to show how to release that?
Right, how to try to break that down so you can let go of the ego and be within your spiritual being, the soul's purpose for actually being here right now. Not necessarily the physical being, but the soul's purpose. There is a purpose within each of us on why we are here. So I try to get them towards that sense of inner being and soulfulness, so that they can let their ego shed down and the materialistic world just shed down for a moment, so they can get into that point of reflection and connection.
So can you tell who are your clients? What are the people that you're seeing? Do they come with certain illnesses? Is it just regular people? Who should come to see you?
Well, the best client
Yeah.
is, of course, if a physician or a patient, they cannot figure out what's wrong with them physically. And that is the best, because I will be able to see what's wrong with them, and I medically document everything for them to take back to their physician. You know, and another very good client is emotional disturbances. I give a seminar on diminishing depression, and it's wonderful. That's a free seminar I give here every couple of months, and they can come and sit in on that and be a part of it. It is an interactive workshop of enlightenment and learning about the soul's purpose, not the ego things that keep getting us down in this world, and bringing it to a higher level of divine feeling within one's being. And it works. It's just what I'm guided to do. So, you know, there's various things that we can work on with clients, but spirituality and medical are the most that come to me. So the most that I work with usually.
Okay, can you show like a 2-minute demonstration of what would it feel like or look like when somebody comes to you? Let's say I'm your client.
Well, I'm sitting here looking at your lungs, and the upper part of your lungs is they're actually larger than usual, the upper section. But I'm looking lower section of the lungs. The right lung is actually smaller than normal. The lung capacity, the interior capacity, it's a little smaller, about 20% less, so you're about 80% capacity that I would like to see for your body weight, just in this one area. But then I'm looking up here and I'm seeing some esophageal, bronchial almost, some irritations going through there. Maybe you're near a lot of pollution or something. But then the esophageal part I think is more long-term. That's not something that just came up. There's a little swelling in the esophagus. You know, I would then ask you, did you recently have a cold or something? Because I'd like to rule it out if that's the case. Mm-hmm. You did.
Yeah, I came from Peru. I had this big spiritual trip with people, and I brought, I've been working a lot, talking a lot, and I'm not designed to talk too much, so that could be part of it. But there is always, this is a manifestation center. The way I work with people, I go through all kinds of details and how manifestation is not happening and why it's not happening. So what you're talking about is one
physical. That's usually where I start, but sometimes after the first 30 seconds, my guides tell me to go elsewhere, and their guides allow it, and they allow it. So in this case, I can say you are hindering your voice chakra, and there's some energy levels. The meridians are actually getting trapped there somewhat. It's coming down a little bit into here, but mostly right in here. I also notice your heart chakra, and I would test with energy, and this is something I teach people to do, how to feel the energy. I would test with energy for the using a closed circuitry, pulling up. Yeah, there is a little hindrance right in here, and there's a little hindrance as it comes up into the voice chakra, but then it frees up somewhat there. So there's some issues here that I would discuss with you. Your guides would actually put me on the track of what's going on. And almost always I know so much about the patient without them realizing it. They don't understand usually how, but that's because I can see the aura. I teach people how to do that, and then once you get trained, and for a period of time, you start to see the spiritual beings within the aura, and they actually talk to me. And that's another thing is I teach people how that they can hear them speaking to them. But yeah, you have an entity right about over here, and they actually go forward and back right in here. So it's interesting on how that works because it's the analytical that they're dealing with. But I'm going to kind of feed off of that. You know, so I go from physical to spiritual. Some sessions are totally physical, and I'll talk to doctors after, or the patient will ask me to fax the doctor information, which I'll do only with signature. We follow all federal rules and regulations for the HIPAA Privacy Act, and it's very important to us. They need to sign a document. It must be the patient themselves. No one else can sign it for them. And we will discuss with, I'll discuss with the physician back and forth to get to the bridging of what actually is the best way to help this person. And satisfy that patient, first of all, number one. And number two, educate the doctor with certain things, and parties around the person as well, because there's a lot of synergistic effects going on around that person who is ill.
So I just want to comment on what I felt when you were moving that energy. Immediately my heart chakra became very open and warm, and my guides told me that you are not actually speaking your heart all the time, that I am a voice. I've been told by my guides that I am a voice of a Venus sequence. I'm here to bring it out, and I've started writing a book. And I stopped it in the halfway, and I went to ADD and HDD book, which I'm completing, which I love this work, but the Venus sequence is my song, and I was told that I'm a voice for that, and I'm not voicing that voice, and that's probably where it's
analytical
coming from.
is overriding your heart desires.
Absolutely. So that when you were start moving that, I immediately felt that wave of energy.
Right.
Happening and realization.
The spiritual architecture part of my title, that's where it came from. It's the soul-shifting experience to be in the presence of me when I do the work. This is very minor compared to what we get into during a session, but
it was a 1 minute demonstration. but look how much had happened in that 1 minute. Can you imagine what would happen to people in our session? Or how long is your session usually?
Well, if it's a full medical intuitive, it's 1.5 hours to 2 hours. It's very rare it's shorter than that. Sometimes I go over. It's basically, if they schedule it in, it's what the patient needs, what the client wants, what they need, how much time they have. I try to fit it in. I do short-term blastings on people too for quick types of what do they need, what is out there that will help them. Those are usually a half hour long. However, I can't get into the intricate detail and the roots of the problems and the reconciliation. So, so it is limiting, but it is there.
It's limiting in terms of your hugeness. You're so huge that for you it's limiting, but if you multiply 1 minute of what I've experienced to 30 minutes or an hour or hour and a half or 2 hours, I can imagine I have to go with the full session with you for sure. And just bringing back to that title of yours, that you are the bridge, you are a bridge, you are such a bridge, and that's such a gift to have you at that center, North Shore Healing Center here in Glenview. I just wanted to ask you one more question.
Sure.
What is your dream? What would happen?
What is my dream?
What would you
like
to
I started a project for the Dalai Lama, and my dream is to complete that project, because the millions that can affect it's immense. But you know, it takes time. So my patience is I'm trying to be patient. But that is my dream, to finish that project that he wants done, and like I said, that's going to be.
Can you tell what the project is all about?
Well, it's bridging Eastern and Western medicine, and to the point of doing semi-annual conferences for physicians, and on the other turn, semi-annual conferences for holistic practitioners. Because physicians think that is, a lot of physicians, not all, because I do work with a lot of them believe that is the only way, that is it, that is set in gold, and voila. And then we have the holistic practitioners that think this is the only way, this is all you need, this is it completely. Well, in actuality, it takes both.
Absolutely.
It takes both to heal the human body completely, and it takes open minds. and open minds using science, because science can explain a lot of everything we're doing around here.
And we are trained to believe in science.
And that's one reason why I try to put it down the scientific, concrete scientific evidence. So it is actually, I discuss clinical studies, I do a lot of medical research continually. I do medical research sometimes even 3 in the morning, you know. It's my love. I love doing that though. So I try to bring both together as one to help each person as an individual. And the project for the Dalai Lama is to set these conferences up and have an interconnecting communication line, directories between the physicians and holistic practitioners, and demonstrations between the two, explanations, discussions, opening up the whole circumstance and bridging it together.
Absolutely, and that's a great work, because it takes the information, it takes the knowing that you have a friend in that physician. We are all physicians, because the word physician is not only about being a medical doctor or being an alternative practitioner. It's the same physician. If you go 5,000 years ago, that's what physician was.
Yeah.
It's just we evolved so much, and we went on a scientific route, and we've learned so much that we really need to combine this knowledge that is available to us right now with the knowledge that's been used for thousands of years. Right. And what you're doing is just amazing. Thank you so much. That's
Thank you very
just
much.
Great. Thank you for doing this interview. It's been amazing, and thank you for the shift that you've created in me. Thank you.
Thank you.